Hello and welcome to Right from the Kickoff. I'm your host this week, William Bayliss, and as always, we're joined by the one and only. That's right, you've guessed it. It's Joe Wright. How you doing, Joe?
Yeah, I'm doing good, mate. Doing really good. Obviously, some really tasty games this weekend. Both, obviously, we're closer to the weekend of the fixtures now rather than the results. But yeah, really tasty games last weekend, and then obviously some good games coming up this weekend as well. So really looking forward to it.
Yeah, there's some really tasty ones. So before we get started, as always, make sure you give the video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Right, Joe? There's only one place we can start, really, and that's the return of CR7. That's right, it's Manchester United versus Newcastle. Now, this game finished 4-1, and that man who I mentioned earlier scored 2 goals, and what a way to kickstart or re-kickstart your Manchester United career. What did you make of it, Joe?
Well, I don't think anybody's really that surprised, are they? I know you obviously last time we were on the podcast, you were kind of saying, you're not sure, but I know you were playing devil's advocate. I think me and you both thought it was going to go this way to start off with, but the guy's just born goals, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? He scores goals. He's definitely taking up more of a striker role as we both predicted this time round, playing down the centre more. I mean, don't get me wrong, the goals that were scored were avoidable, but he was in the right place at the right time, and he's not always going to score fantastic goals. But the point is, he's a stats builder. He'll get goals for you, and that's exactly what he did. And I wasn't surprised, to be honest, when obviously scored the first one, and then when he scored the second, I was like, oh god, he's already on a hat trick. Do you know what I mean? So he is just he's a phenom, isn't he, in terms of football? And we know this, and he's going to continue to do that. I mean, he scored in the Champions League as well. In midweek, obviously, they lost that game. But yeah, he's just incredible, isn't
he? Yeah, he really is. I think it's going to be a real good fight for the top goal scorer, because obviously Lukaku's in lots of form as well. You know, you can't write off Harry Kane, obviously Mo Salah. Those four is going to be
I honestly think, though, Will, if you don't mind me saying, I think you can write off Mo Salah and you can write off Harry Kane, because I do feel like
it's a two-horse race for you.
Yeah, because I think the 2 goal scorers that we have got in Lukaku and Cristiano Ronaldo, I think they are they're obviously out and out strikers now. And I think that their numbers speak for themselves. I mean, no disrespect to Harry Kane or Mo Salah, but it has been a fight between them for a number of years now. But I think we have got a different quality of striker now in Lukaku and Ronaldo. I just think it's been stepped up a little bit, in my opinion, in terms of goal scoring. Not taking anything away from Harry Kane, but in terms of pure goal scoring, he only scored 22 goals last season. Obviously, yet to score. Mo Salah, yes, he's obviously scored over 30 goals, but I honestly think we could be seeing for the first time close to 40 goals this season. I really do.
Oh, you go for it. Hopefully they'll all stay interested. Obviously, the latest news article from Ronaldo is that he had to move out his mansion after a week for a unique reason, is that there was too many sheep outside keeping up at night, and that's the kind of person he is. He avoids anything to what could disrupt his playing and his whole mentality.
This is the thing, just on Ronaldo as a person, his fitness, obviously there was a whole debacle about him kind of pushing the coat to one side and then the water kind of thing. He's very strict. He's very strict with his kids. We know this with their diets as well. I think he's very regimented. He doesn't get to the level he's at unless he's pinpoint on what he's doing. Do you know what I mean?
And Joe, as we both know, that all athletes are freaks. But in that case, what do you make Ronaldo a super freak in that case, isn't he?
Well, he is. I mean, not only is he super talented, but let's just give you a stat here, which I'm sure everyone knows by now. But Wayne Rooney and Ronaldo are the same age.
It's crazy, isn't it? Doesn't it? Wayne Rooney's actually older. I mean, younger rather.
Yeah, I think he's something like 8 months younger, isn't he, or something? So, do you know what I mean? I think they are super freaks. But just going back to the football, obviously 4-1, nice win. I think I'm going to throw this question over to you. Are you worried for Newcastle?
To be fair, I am, but I'm not. I thought Newcastle gave a good account of themselves because they obviously went to 1-1, and I think they played some decent football in that match. Would you be worried? You're tempted to say yes. Obviously, they only had 1 point after 4 games, but they do have some quality players like St. Maximum, Joe Willock, Wilson.
It's having 1 point after 7, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but that's a whole different debacle if you don't know. I'm a Forest fan, but let's glaze over that. But yeah, I think that they are going to be in trouble this season. I know we both said that prior to the season, but I think they will be.
I actually did say they'd finished quite comfortably out of the bottom 3. I don't believe that now.
Yeah, but it's only 4 games into the season. Anything could happen after all.
Yeah, definitely. Right, should we move on to the next game?
Yeah, let's move on. So we're going to move on to the first game on the Saturday, which was Crystal Palace Tottenham. Now, after yes, Joe, you messaged me after this game saying, haha, respect Tottenham, what? And you're quite right. It was 0-0, and then Tottenham went down to 10 men, and then Crystal Palace just turned on the afterburners. Zaha scoring a penalty, then Edward came from Celtic, I believe, and he scored 2 goals in the first 10 minutes of his Crystal Palace career. And what did you make of it, Joe?
Let's get something right about this. Crystal Palace were dominating the game before Tottenham had a sending off. So
but I don't think it would have been 3-0.
No. I still think what I'm saying is I still think Palace would have gone on to win. That's what I'm saying. But I think as soon as they went down to 10 men, you could only see it go one way because all the momentum was with Crystal Palace anyway. So it wasn't really a change. Zaha had Tanganga on toast, obviously, and that's why he got sent off. There was an altercation between those two, and it was just it was a bad afternoon for Tottenham. But I think to be honest, we know that they're going to have a few results like this season. I think they're in a transition period. And this is what I mean is I don't think Tottenham have the ability to stay the course. I think if they get into the top 6, it'll be a very, very good season for Tottenham. That's kind of where they're at the moment. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, 3-0. Crystal Palace first win under Patrick Vieira, a very good win. And actually, you could see what they were trying to implement, what they were trying to do under Vieira, which I thought was very good. Do you know what I mean? You could see kind of the style he's asking.
Yeah, because he came to the league a bit of an unknown, not really proven at this level in terms of a manager. Obviously, we all know about his playing career. But yeah, that's why there was always question marks around how Crystal Palace were going to do. Like, how would they react? What's the playing style? Like, we just didn't know prior to the season. But if this game is anything to go by, I think Crystal Palace will be in safe hands. But you never know. That's football, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it is football, and I think Norwich will have a couple of results this season where they look up for it. They'll probably beat a couple of people by 2 goals or more. They potentially could. Do you know what I mean? So it just depends on the week. So just because it's 1 week, I get what you're saying. It doesn't make a kind of season, does it? But it's definitely a good starting block now. Now they've got the first point.
Yeah, for sure. And moving on to the other half of North London, Arsenal got the first points on the board against Norwich. Now, what do you make of it, Joe? I know it was only 1-0 in the end, but I think Arsenal would just be relieved that they actually won a game.
Yeah, but I mean, again, from their fans, I watch their fan channel quite a lot, and I'm sure you do as well from time to time, Will. Again, overreaction. Every time they get a win, it's like, do you know what I mean? It's like they're going to win the league again. They were playing Norwich. That's the point. I mean, you heard my reaction when we beat Norwich 2-1. Again, no disrespect to Norwich, they've done really well to get in the league. But do you know what I mean? They only just scraped by the 1-0 at home against Norwich. Norwich could have quite easily got out there with a point. So for me, I'm worried if I'm an Arsenal fan. And I'd take more. I'd be more worried about that. They're off the mark. It's great, but if you're not beating Norwich, which they did do, but if you're not beating Norwich comfortably, there is an issue there. And I think they've got Burnley this weekend. I think they'll struggle. I really do.
Yeah, I think only time will tell on that one. On Norwich, it's still without a point. I know they've played some good football, but they need to start getting points, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I think the issue they've got is they're kind of proving everyone right at the moment. They've obviously played 4, lost 4. Just can't really see where the next point's coming from. They played some decent football. You know what I mean? The only game realistically, I know I said they could have got a point against Arsenal, but realistically, if the one that you watched, the only one they were probably unlucky not to get a point out of was the game against Leicester.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
Even then, you kind of go, well, when you are down, the luck doesn't go with you. If you think they had a header in the Leicester game that went in, and then of course it was called offside, which was, if I'm going to be honest, if I put my kind of neutral head on, was a bit unlucky, because I don't really feel like the player was impeding Schmeichel. But that's what I'm saying. You get into this rut where the luck doesn't go with you either, and as soon as the luck doesn't start going with you, you're really going to struggle.
Yeah.
And it's already started to turn a bit sour for them in terms of they are going to really struggle, I think. Really struggle.
Yeah. But like we said, it's still early days, so there's still time to turn it around.
And they haven't really played any what you'd call bottom half teams from last year, have they? So,
yeah,
we maybe being.
They have had a tough run in.
They've played 4 of the top 8, haven't they, from last season? So.
Yeah, and they've only played 4 games. So moving on to a last-minute winner for Brighton against Brentford. Now, we did say this game could have went either way, and it proved to do exactly that. What did you make of it, Joe?
This game was a very, in terms of style, in terms of kind of the way they play, we always knew it was going to be kind of a 50-50 game. Very happy for Brighton. Started very, very well. They are kind of proving that realistically, we said their football deserved to be mid-table football last season, and I can see it being that this season.
They've started to score more goals.
If they're taking the chances, that they're going to be. I mean, Leicester got Brighton this weekend, and I'm not looking forward to it. But it's just interesting because Brighton we said last season, Brighton start taking the chances with the manager they've got. They've lost a couple of key players, but with the style they play, with what the manager tries to implement, it obviously works, and it was a good result. Not too worried about Brentford. They had a couple of opportunities to score, could have gone either way. But yeah, not worried about them at all. I think obviously first loss of the season, but this was very much 2 teams that play some good football at times, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think they'll both do quite well this season, like we say. Okay, moving on to Leicester Man City, your boys. Obviously, Man City won this 1-0, but you texted me saying you were impressed of how Leicester played in this match. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the stats don't lie. Man City had a lot of shots, but we defended resolutely. We had the ball in the back of the net a couple of times. We had a couple of chances ourselves. This game actually could have gone for what it is against Man City. We could have got a point. We could have even won it, on a different day. Again, I'm not saying that Man City didn't dominate it, but what I'm saying is we caused them enough problems to maybe get something out of the game. And I think against Man City, that's realistically all you can ask for.
Yeah. Would you say that you weren't clinical enough? Obviously, you only had 1 shot on target on that.
Yeah, well, we weren't clinical enough. We weren't, but I think like I said, obviously against a team like Man City, you probably put Liverpool in this bracket as well. Liverpool, Man United. If you don't take your chances, you're going to get hurt. Do you know what I mean? If you're not more clinical, you're going to get hurt, and we were in the end. But like I say, we set out a plan, and I was more impressed. I think, and especially coming off last night's result as well, 2-2 against Napoli. As much as we got paid back at the end, we are starting to find another gear now, and I'm not as worried as I was when we played Norwich, which is weird because obviously last night was coming off the back of a win. But you know what I mean, in terms of the type of football we're playing, we're getting some centre backs now. We're going to have players coming back. Justin's going to be back by the time of November with his ACL. So we're going to have options. As soon as we have options and different things, just to shout out as well. I thought the new signings played very well last night. Samir, Daka got a goal chalked off last night as well.
I thought that was just onside.
Yeah, so did I. But we're not in the. It depends where they take it from, and we're not in the. Because obviously we couldn't see it. It's not like we can. They've obviously saw the lines and decided it's offside. So I'm not going to complain about it because they've got VAR. Do you know what I mean? I think if I'd have seen the lines and everything like they do in the Premier League, I think I'd have kicked off. But because I couldn't see it, I don't know what they've seen that we haven't. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna respect the officials and say they've got it right. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, it was a good game, and that's what I'm saying. I think we are building a bit of momentum now, which is good.
So let's move on to Southampton West Ham now. This game could have gone either way. It was an even game, but I think West Ham will be missing their main man, Antonio, in that next match. He got sent off for 2 yellow cards, so obviously we'll just miss one game at least, so that's good for West Ham. But how much of a miss will he be for the next game, Antonio?
Oh, massive. He's a vocal point for them. He honestly, as a striker goes, I've not been, in terms of improvement in the league, if there was a best improved player award, it would go to Antonio for sure. He's a vocal point, he's strong. I mean, we've gone through his attributes all the way along, haven't we? But he's immense. Again, he did the business against Zagreb last night. They won 2-0 in the Europa League. So he's obviously got the talent, and they are going to miss him because he is a real vocal point. But they'll bring in someone like Bowen, as a top man, and Bowen's got good pace. He can hurt teams, and the way they do set up, I think they might be all right. But yeah, West Ham are definitely going to miss him for this game.
Yeah, would you say it was a decent point? Obviously, I think Southampton will leave a happier.
Yeah, I think
after the game, I think it could have been a bit of a missed opportunity for West Ham not to get more points on the board.
I think it was a missed opportunity for West Ham. I think Southampton will be very happy with the point. Like I say, I think West Ham are now, you'd probably say, because they are a top 8 side now without a shadow, that realistically they've got to be beating teams like West Ham. I know it's a bit of a shift in change, but they finished top 6 last season, so I think West Ham's, rightfully so, would have expected them to go there and win.
And obviously they're playing Man United next, West Ham, so it's going to be a very tough game, especially with Ronaldo being back. But not
with Antonio. Do you know what I mean?
It's actually not with Antonio, so it's going to be very, very tough indeed. But we'll get on to that later on. So let's move on to the next game, Watford Wolves. Now, I think this took us a bit by surprise. Wolves actually managed to score 2 goals, which they hadn't really done all season. Do you think now it's going to click for them a bit more? They're going to start taking the chances more?
Yeah, I think to be honest, I wasn't surprised by the result. I think obviously scoring 2 goals and doing what they did. I think they hopefully they can go on now and get some good results. They're a good team. You can see that Bruno Lager has got them playing in the way he wants them to play, and they are a good team again. Very unlucky against Leicester. Well, very unlucky in all their games. Very unlucky against United as well. So I think Wolves will be absolutely fine.
Yeah, I do as well, because they do have the players for it. So 2-0, was that a fair result for you?
Yeah, I do. I think we both said Wolves wins, didn't we? I believe. So I think we weren't really surprised. I think what we are starting to see now that Watford may struggle a little bit. I don't. Again, it's early days, so you don't know. It can change week on week, and I've always said this: your opinion changes week on week in the Premier League because other stuff happens that you weren't expecting to. That's what makes it a great league. But yeah, I think Watford, since their opening day win, haven't really kicked on from that, have they?
No, I don't think so. So we'll wait and see what happens with Watford, but they could be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah,
Moving on to the last game on a Saturday, Chelsea Villa. Now, that main man, again, Lukaku scoring 2 wonderful goals. How big of an asset is he for
well,
already strong Chelsea?
it's a great kind of line that you've used there, Will, because he's a massive asset, because Chelsea didn't actually play that well in this game. Villa had opportunities, obviously didn't take them. They had a couple of chances. John McGinn had a good game for Villa, and 3-0 was an unfair scoreline. But when you've got a vocal point like one of the best strikers in the world in Lukaku, who is a different striker than what we've seen in the Premier League before, by the way. His fitness levels, he's just different. He's just
because he's not only a target man. He's got the speed, he's got the power, he's got so many attributes.
All you've got to do is look at both his goals that he scored. So he sits the defender down for the first one, takes it round him and just blasts it in. And then the second goal, he just takes it down. He's just outside the 18-yard box, isn't he? And just absolutely rifles it into the top left-hand corner. He's a quality striker. I don't think he really is the finished article now, isn't he? When it comes to a striker. I think Graham Souness said that he's not amazing at one thing. He's just very good at a lot of things, and I think that's kind of key, really.
Yeah, that's a nail on the head, isn't it?
Yeah, he's very good at a lot of things. So he's kind of your complete all-round striker, really, isn't he? His pace is good. He's got power. He's got the ability to head the ball. He's kind of his feet have improved a lot in terms of getting it past players as well. And his pace isn't, like I say, he's quick now, isn't he, as well? He's definitely worked on his fitness.
Yeah, 100%. And his strength. I know he was already strong, but I think he just upped the ante a bit more again, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
100%. And moving on to the next game, Leeds Liverpool. Now, before we get started, we want to wish Harvey Elliott all the best, because it was a horror injury, wasn't it? I don't know if you've seen it, Joe.
Yeah, no, I've seen it.
But that being said, do you think it was a red card?
I'm actually going to say no. I think if there was an orange, I think that's what that gets. I mean, yes, all right, he broke his ankle and stuff, but realistically, what do you think, Will?
I don't think there was any intent there, obviously. Even Harvey Elliott thought it was a bit unlucky, because we've seen challenges like that all the time, but his trailing leg just got caught between Harvey Elliott's ankle and the floor, didn't it? So that's why it kind of like made it jolting. I think he wouldn't have been sent off if he hadn't been injured like that.
Yeah, but I don't think that's right.
No, I'm not saying it is right, but I think that's influenced the referee.
No, I agree. But if you think about it, there's plenty of tackles and boots flying in where players do get injured and players don't even get carded, because it's not meant for that. It just happens, and I think the same applies with that. I think, you know what I mean. There's no intent there. He gets unlucky. Do you know what I mean? If you're not meaning to do something, but you cause an injury, it's like this basically. Say if I fall out of my chair because the wind's strong, but you've got your hand on the back of my chair, and the reason the wind's strong, if the wind's strong and your hand is an influence as to why I fall out of my chair and I get injured, does that then give me a right to have a go at you? Not really, because the main ingredient is the wind. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know what you mean, but we would love to get your thoughts on this. If you're listening at home, please comment them down below, because we really want to hear that. But I think Liverpool were well on top in this game. They're already 2-0 up at this point, and they were looking really comfortable, weren't they?
Yeah. Just quickly going back to Harvey Elliott, he's just very quickly. He's young. That's the one thing that's on his side. With this injury, he'll come back from this for sure. But it's obviously just a frustrating, especially at the start of your career when he's finally breaking into the Liverpool side.
Yeah, that's a key component there. Yeah,
as well.
100%.
But yeah, anyway, yeah, Liverpool completely dominant. I don't think we expected Leeds to really make any great shakes. Are you worried for Leeds at all at this point?
Um,
Because they've not started great, have they? They haven't won a
they
game.
haven't, no. And if you have a look at their next game, they have to get points out of it. They're playing Newcastle. You would hope that they would get some points just to kickstart that mentality again. So let's hope they do.
But I
Just
think
because
a
the Leeds United of last season, the style of football was unbelievable. So I think they need to get that confidence back. They don't lose it, do they?
They look a bit jaded. I don't know. They just look a bit more. They just look a bit tired.
Well,
they just seem to be second to everything at the moment. I think that's making a difference.
Well, we did say prior to the season, I know Bielsa works a Leeds team like a lot, like until they're exhausted. So maybe that's just starting to creep in a little bit now, a bit of exhaustion. I know you said they're looking a bit jaded, so that might be one of the reasons.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I don't think Leeds are in any trouble. They've got enough talent there. We've seen what they can do, but it's just you do start to think, are they in trouble? You know?
Yeah. You might be a little bit worried, but as like we keep saying, it is early days, so only time will tell on that. Okay, so moving on to the final game of a weekend, actually was on the Monday night, I should say. Everton Burnley. I know we both predicted that Everton win, but I think it was a really good game overall, wasn't it? Obviously, Burnley went 1-0 up, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and then of course, what happened? Then the new signings kind of took over. Townsend obviously scoring some goals, and then of course Gray, which I'm saying through gritted teeth.
He has. I know we said it last week, but he has started really, really well.
Well, he has, and you know what? I think it's just it just annoys me because it's. I've never once said that the boy's not talented. You know the talent's there, you know he can do it. But if he puts his focus and his effort in, he can be some player, and he looks like he's turned the corner with Everton a little bit. I mean, obviously, we might see him kind of fall off. I'm still thinking he might, but I'm hoping he doesn't. I think he's a great player. But I'm just kind of sitting there thinking, you know, why couldn't you have done this for Leicester? But again, I think it's down to the management and how he's used. I think Rafa Benitez has obviously he's getting the best out of him at the moment. It's going well, but Townsend as well.
What a finish that was! That's a goal of a week for me.
Crystal Palace. I don't know what they're doing. Selling the player like of his quality. I really don't. You know, Crystal. How they got somebody in that's better than Townsend? I don't see that. I know they won 3-0 this weekend, but I don't see how Townsend makes their side any worse. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't. He makes it better. So I was very confused by that, but letting him go for that cheap as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Everton have a real player on their hands. I think they've recruited well over the summer, and I think Everton was going to do well under Rafa. I know we said that prior to the season as well.
Realistically, though, mate, the reason you say Everton have recruited well, I think they've had to kind of recruit the way they have because they're in quite a lot of debt. So, they can't afford the kind of £50 million players at the moment, and that's why they've had to get players like Townsend and Gray in for so cheap.
I tell you what, bargains though. Yeah, they already repaid.
Got bargains, but that's what I mean. That's all they can afford. It's they've kind of been forced into that. I mean, if they had more money, would they have gone for Townsend or Gray? I don't think so. Which actually work in the end.
Yeah, no, I agree. So let's move on to our predictions for the weekend's matches. So we're going to do some quick fire ones this time, Joe. So I'm going to say the game, what I think the score will be, and then I want you to say your score, okay? So we're going through one at a time. Okay, first, tonight's match is Newcastle Leeds. So I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair, actually. I'm going to go 2-2. I think both defenses look a bit shaky.
So I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to say 2-2 as well.
2-2.
I was literally came to my head. I was going to say 2-2. So
Great minds think alike. Okay, so Wolves Brentford. I think again this is going to be a good game. I think Wolves, if they get the shooting boots on, I think I'll edge it. So I'm going to go 2-1 Wolves.
seriously, mate, stop it. I'm going to go 2-1 Wolves because I was going to go that. I'm not even joking. I literally was like, right, 2-1 Wolves. Yeah, I thought you were going to go for a Brentford win. To be fair.
Oh yeah. So next game, Burnley Arsenal. I think it's going to be a low scoring affair, but I think Arsenal might just edge it. So I've got 1-0 Arsenal.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal.
2-0 Arsenal. Just to be a bit different. Next game, Liverpool Palace. I know there's been some classic matches over the years between Liverpool and Palace, but I think Liverpool will be way too much for them. I've gone 3-0.
I'm going to go 3-0 as well. I literally was going to go that. So.
Okay, moving on to Man City Southampton. I've gone 4-0 Man City. Need I say more?
Do I go the same or do I go one more higher? I'm gonna go 5-0.
5-0. High five again. There's got a lot of 5 goals already. Norwich Watford. I think this is going to be a tight fight. I've gone 1-1.
Norwich Watford. I'm gonna go Watford 2-1.
Moving on to Aston Villa Everton now. This is going to be a good game for me, but I've gone 3-1 Everton.
I'm gonna go 1-1.
Oh, interesting. The next game, Brighton Leicester. I think it's going to be a good game actually, and I think it was going to be a draw. I've gone 1-1.
I'm gonna back my team. I'm gonna say 2-1 Leicester.
Moving on to West Ham Man United. Again, I think it's going to be a high scoring affair. I've actually gone 4-2 to Manchester United.
Who are they playing again?
West Ham.
West Ham. I'm gonna go 2-0 Man United.
So next we're going to go and finally Spurs Chelsea. I think Chelsea are going to be too much for Spurs. I've gone 3-1 Chelsea.
I'm gonna go 2-0 Chelsea. I don't think Spurs are gonna score.
Interesting. So some very similar scorelines to this week. There's only 3 points in it between all of us, between me and Joe so far. And if you got your own predictions, please comment them down below. We'd love to hear them. So over to you, Joe.
Yeah, right. Okay. So obviously, player of the week to start off with. Who's your player of the week, Will, for last week?
For me, I'm gonna have to go Lukaku because he just makes that difference for Chelsea. So that's why I'm gonna go Lukaku.
Yeah, I'm going to go Lukaku as well, but I'm going to give a shout out for Edouard for the best 10 minutes debut ever.
Yeah, literally.
Scoring
Great debut.
He scored with his first touch practically, didn't he? So yeah, but yeah, so Lukaku gets it for this week. Right, this next section, obviously, you guys, if you've been listening, will know by now. It's Joe Asks, Will Tells, where I give Will a topic and he kind of just gives me his opinions on it. Right, this week's topic, Will. Does the media influence transfers? So what this means is, it's like Sky Sports News trying to sell smaller clubs players to bigger clubs. Are they just reporting, or does it influence, does Sky Sports influence what actually happens in clubs? Do the BBC actually influence what happens in clubs, or is it just a load of tosh and whatever happens in those clubs happens? But do you feel like, at the very least, the media do try to influence transfers a lot of the time, don't they? Because that's what they want to happen a lot of the time.
For sure. I think they definitely sensationalise it 100%. Does it actually influence? I'd say yes. We've seen a sexual on a Wingate travelled up. I think he travelled to UPI, didn't he, to try and force through a transfer. Obviously that never materialised. Do you remember? Like, he appeared on Sky Sports for it.
He literally was just outside the training ground, wasn't he?
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong on the team, but it was definitely that player.
Yeah, no, it was. I can't remember the team. It was definitely Peter O'Dwyer, though. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think they definitely do up to a point. I think agents are a lot to do with it as well. They report it to news agencies to try and stir the pot a bit more, get people talking about it. That's what agents do. So I think the agents influence the media more so than the other way around.
Yeah,
Because they're trying to sense. Would you agree with that?
I agree. I think it's, you see a lot of players, obviously agents coming out and stuff, but it's because we all know why the agents do it though. It's because if there is a transfer to be made, the agents make their most money. So they want the transfer because they get a percentage of it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of their motivation. So yeah, I think it's a weird one. I mean, it's like, for example, I'm just going to use this as an example because it affects my club. It's like the Maddison kind of talk this week going to Arsenal. Well, not this week. This transfer window never materialised. I don't actually ever think it was really on the cards.
Yeah, the only thing what was on the cards was that he was in Nando's in Nottingham, so maybe he's on his way to Nottingham.
Yeah, there's that. You actually bumped into him this week. So
Yeah,
um,
showcase cinema Nando's in Nottingham.
yeah, that's an exclusive.
Exclusive. He likes Nando's. What a shock.
I mean, I was like, maybe I did say to you, didn't I? Message you when you sent me the picture. I said maybe he's trying to push through a move to Forest. Just a very quick one now. Then we talked about transfers. I'm just going to ask you this, right? Because obviously you're a Forest fan, and obviously we know great club, big club down in the Championship, bottom of the Championship at the moment. Obviously Chris Hughton's left. I just want to ask you your thoughts and feelings on that, and how are you feeling? Obviously, as a devoted Forest fan and a season ticket holder, was it the right time for you, or was it too late? What's your opinion on it?
I think it was the right time he left. Obviously, he had his fair crack this season, but the football was terrible. Like really bad. Because you've seen a few matches as well, Joe.
Yeah, ones are on Sky Sports, and they're in trouble.
I'm just kind of numb to it. I saw the stat that we've been through 27 different managers in the last 17 years, which is crazy. Like, crazy. I know Chris Hughton's been in the job just over a year at Forest, which is like some kind of record after Sabri left.
I think, to be honest with you, mate, I think that's the only reason he lasted 7 games. Because I don't think the hierarchy at Nottingham Forest wanted to get rid of him.
No, they probably can't afford to.
I think they didn't want to get rid of him, but I think it's you can't have 1 point out of the first 7 games and not be in trouble. It's I think, and especially with the type of football they're playing. I mean, I've seen 2 or 3 games this season, and they're just not. They're just not. They do look like a relegation team at the moment.
I agree with that, and there's a whole real disconnect. I think something needs to change. Like going to the stadium, they've had 18 months and the stadium is filthy. It's like they don't care about the fans, and a lot of censorship online over it. I know a lot of people on Twitter have been sent messages from Forest saying, "Oh, I didn't like that tweet. What you said about Forest from the Forest hierarchy." I think there's just
didn't you also mention that there was a guy who had a bed sheet before the game against Middlesbrough, saying Houghton out, and they took it off him before.
Yeah, they were going around the stewards asking him to take it off him. Like, that's a level what it's like at the moment. I know a lot of the media have been criticised from the club. I know, Daniel Taylor. It's happened many times. He has criticised. He's a Forest fan himself, and he's criticised the club, and we're not happy with him. Blah blah blah.
Well, I mean, the issue is we've both been saying this week. Obviously, that's been breaking news this week. But if realistically, I know you've got a couple of players in, but just one more question before we finish. I know we said that we wanted to be a bit quicker and stuff, but just before we finish, who do you get in, and also who's going to want the job? Because I think it is a bit of a poison chalice, honestly. Because if you're a manager, you know that there's a good possibility that you're not going to be in the job for longer than a year.
Yeah, I know Steve Cooper, the old 20 England under 21 manager, is in talks with Forest. He's like favourites at the moment. Eddie Howe's been mentioned, which I think will be a good appointment. Chris Wilder as well. I think those are the top three. Or we could look abroad, which we probably will do.
I think if I'm going to be completely honest with you, out of those three, if you could get Eddie Howe, that'd be amazing. If you could get Chris Wilder, that'd be amazing. Whether Steve Cooper's the guy to take you for, I know he's favourite.
I think I'll go through what a lot of people are worried about Cooper is because we've gone from Houghton, who's very defensive, to Cooper, who Swansea fans saying is equally just as defensive, if not more. So Forest fans want more attacking style of play. We want more exciting play. We just haven't had it.
Well, I mean,
I would take a win at this point. I'm not going to.
The difficult thing is, as a football fan, this just goes for every football fan, is you don't mind defensive football as long as it's winning football matches. You really don't mind it. You don't mind it all. If you get 10 wins on the bounce playing defensive, you're fine with it. But when you start to lose playing that style of football, you're like, right, we need to change it up. And I think that's what Forest fans are going through at the moment. We've seen it at Tottenham, obviously in the Premier League as well with Jose, and they've almost done exactly the same thing, going. Oh, right, okay, so we've gone from Mourinho to Nuno, who is also quite a defensive manager. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, but I would say the one good thing about Cooper is that he does concentrate on youth quite a lot. So that's one thing what Forest has in abundance. So hopefully he can develop them. That'd be a really, really good sign. Because he's already managed Brennan Johnson and Mighton in for England under 17s years ago. So obviously he knows those players quite well, which is a good asset to have.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. But either way, I think whoever's going to get the job is going to have a big job on their hands for sure.
Yeah, but yeah. But yeah,
all right then, guys.
Thanks for listening, guys. Sorry, Jay.
I was going to say, all right then, guys, just make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and don't forget to click the like and subscribe button on this video. Please comment below your thoughts. What do you think of the Harvey Elliott tackle? Are Leeds in trouble? And also, can we have your opinions on Nottingham Forest as well? Who are they going to get in? Are they still going to be in trouble, whoever they get in? What are your opinions? Because we'd like to know.
All right, thanks very much, guys, and I'll see you later.
See you later.